Russell Marion Nelson Sr. was more than just a name in church history. He was a man whose life spanned more than a century, whose steady hands and compassionate heart left an indelible mark on both medicine and faith. Born in Salt Lake City, Utah on September 9, 1924, Nelson's journey was extraordinary from the very start. By the time he passed away peacefully at his home in Salt Lake City on September 27, 2025, at the remarkable age of 101, he had become not only the 17th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but also one of the most respected heart surgeons of his generation. His path wasn't laid out easily. Nelson was raised in a family that wasn't deeply active in the church, yet he attended Sunday school and was baptized at age 16. That simple step of faith would later become the cornerstone of his calling. But long before he became a prophet, seer, and revelator to millions, he pursued another kind of healing, the healing of the human heart. At just 16, Nelson graduated high school and entered the University of Utah. Driven, brilliant, and determined, he earned his bachelor's degree in biological sciences with honors in 1945. Then, at only 22 years old, graduated first in his medical school class with his Doctor of Medicine degree. If that wasn't impressive enough, he completed the 4-year program in only 3 years. Soon after, he pursued further training at the University of Minnesota, where he earned a PhD in 1954. During this period, Nelson became part of a pioneering team developing the heart-lung machine, the technology that would make open-heart surgery possible. In 1951, that device supported the very first successful human open-heart surgery, a milestone in medical history that forever changed the world. Nelson wasn't content to sit on the sidelines of history. After serving in the U.S. Army Medical Corps during the Korean War, where he and his team even came under artillery fire while working to improve battlefield care, he returned home and became a professor at the University of Utah School of Medicine. There he built his own heart-lung machine and in 1955 performed the first open-heart surgery in the western United States. In the decades that followed, he would perform nearly 7,000 surgeries, making him one of the most accomplished cardiothoracic surgeons in America. He repaired tricuspid valves, pioneered pediatric cardiac procedures, and even performed surgery on future LDS President Spencer W. Kimball, giving him a new lease on life. In addition to his surgical practice, Nelson rose to the very top of his field. He served as president of the Society for Vascular Surgery, the Utah State Medical Association, and as director of the American Board of Thoracic Surgery. He traveled worldwide as a visiting professor from Mexico and Chile to Uruguay and beyond, sharing his knowledge with doctors across the globe. The University of Utah and the American College of Cardiology even created the Russell M. Nelson Visiting Professorship in Cardiothoracic Surgery in his honor. But medicine was only part of his calling. Nelson always balanced his work with service in his church. From giving tours on Temple Square to serving as Sunday school general president to being a stake president in Salt Lake City, he gave himself fully to both science and faith. Then in 1984, the trajectory of his life changed forever. He was called as an apostle of the LDS Church alongside fellow jurist Dallin H. Oaks. For over 3 decades, Nelson served in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, becoming its president in 2015 and after the death of Thomas S. Monson in 2018, ascending to the presidency of the church. As president, Nelson was revered by church members as a prophet. His tenure was marked by sweeping changes, shortening Sunday worship services from 3 hours to 2, ending the long-standing home teaching and visiting teaching programs in favor of ministering, adjusting policies surrounding same-sex families, and urging members to use the full name of the church instead of Mormon. He led efforts to expand temple worship dramatically, announcing nearly 200 new temples worldwide, including groundbreaking ones in places like India, Russia, and Nicaragua. Nelson was also a global traveler, often accompanied by his wife Wendy. He visited over 30 countries during his presidency, addressing members in their own languages, including Spanish and Mandarin. In 2019, he met with Pope Francis in a historic moment of interfaith dialogue, marking the first time a Pope and LDS president had met face-to-face. His global ministry brought the Church into closer contact with the wider world. His personal life was just as full. In 1945, Nelson married Dancel White, a fellow Utah student and talented singer who once performed with the Tabernacle Choir. Together they raised 10 children. After Dancel's passing in 2005, Nelson remarried in 2006 to Wendy Watson, a professor of marriage and family therapy at Brigham Young University. She became his companion throughout his years as president, traveling the globe by his side. Russell M. Nelson's life was richly decorated with honors. He received numerous professional awards, including recognition from the American Heart Association and the American College of Surgeons. He was named an honorary professor at Shandong Medical College in China, a rare distinction for an American surgeon. Universities worldwide invited him to lecture, and his contributions to medicine have been enshrined in the annals of history. On September 9, 2024, Nelson turned 100 years old, making him the oldest president in the history of the Church. The milestone was celebrated worldwide in a broadcast that reflected on his service, his faith, and his compassion. Just over a year later, on September 27, 2025, he passed away peacefully at his Salt Lake City home, closing a chapter that began more than a century ago. He leaves behind a legacy of healing, both physical and spiritual. A man who once saved lives on the operating table later became a prophet who touched lives in every corner of the globe. His successor, expected to be Dallin H. Oaks, will step into a role made heavier by the passing of such a giant. Russell M. Nelson showed the world what it meant to lead with intellect, humility, and unwavering faith. From the heart-lung machine to the pulpit, his life was one of service. What are your thoughts on his extraordinary life? Do you see him as more of a world-class surgeon, or as a spiritual leader whose influence shaped millions? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into history and biography, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next story.